Our events roundup this week showcases 6 stories from our MMM Nigeria community and 2 from our MMM Republic of South Africa community. In our future, we will show part 2 of participants from MMM Colombia who have crossed the 1 million Colombian peso mark for their Get Help in December. And in his Just an Opinion segment, Guider Milson Juan gives us another thought-provoking topic to ponder on. To all our viewers around the world, this is MNC, your Mavro News channel. MMM guiders are not just serious about advancing MMM. Some are also creative in choosing locations for their presentations. One such creative guider is Guider Chappie Blessing, who chose the picnic grounds of the Abuja Millennium Park in Abuja State as the venue for her offline presentation last September 3, 2016. Instead of sitting in arranged patterns, her guests laid their picnic mats the way they wanted. While the registration was ongoing, the program host also interviewed about a dozen people. Some who are members already gave their testimonies, while those who are first-timers aired their expectation about the event. An opening prayer signaled the formal start of the program. Guider Chappie was introduced next. She started talking about MMM's meaning and its ideology. From there, she moved on to the benefits of participating in MMM and shared as well her own experiences from being a regular member to a guider. Though the venue was informal, Guider Chappie was still able to clearly show the attendees about the beauty of the MMM platform. After she closed her formal talk, some people made on-the-spot registration. She also gave cups with MMM logo to selected attendees as token of appreciation. The overall mood of the event was festive as seen from these clips. Also in Abuja the same day, September 3rd, Guider Shinedi Edu and Olatumbusun collaborated to host a live presentation at the Catch Fund Century in Buari, where they had about a dozen in attendance. They started the event with showing videos that hint on the ideology of the MMM community. In the presentation proper, both guiders took turns in discussing topics. One guider spoke first about MMM and its history. Afterwards, he asked his partner guider to continue the discussion about MMM's ideology. Both guiders made sure that their guests understood fully how the MMM platform operates. They used their live accounts to illustrate the registration process, steps on how to provide and get help, and also the important tabs in the personal office. Before ending the occasion, they also entertained questions from the audience to ensure that everything is clear for them. 5 days later, on the 8th of September 2016, Guider Oiledi Omalora hosted another offline presentation for the people of Fajol in Obantoku, Ogun State. He recounted in his introduction that prior to joining MMM, he was in doubt, so he took time to do an online search about MMM and its founder.
And maybe if we have people here that are internet people, maybe you browse.
He added that the testimonies of members he read and also the ideology that MMM wants to pursue are the things that convince him to forget his doubts and registered as member. After his personal sharing, Guider Oiledi explained next the history of MMM and the reasons that propelled founder Sergey Mavrodi to establish MMM. He also illustrated how banks earn through excessive loan charges out of money pulled from depositors' own money. He called it a deceitful system that MMM wants to destroy. From there, he further talked about how MMM's system of mutual donation exchange works. He assured his audience that in MMM, there is no central account, so their money is assured to be received only by the intended recipient. In exposing them to the benefits and bonuses, Guider Oiledi also reminded them of their recent vote in joining the community. Our fourth story for this week happened on the 10th of September last year with Guider Okashivi Amudu as the lead organizer of a live seminar about MMM for the people of Wari in Delta State.
That is Mudian means something that is global. MMM is not limited to only Nigerians alone. Our movement means MMM is not static. MMM is on the movement on a daily basis.
His presentation was just for half an hour, but he was already able to cover important things. He started with describing MMM and the brief facts about it. Next up was the ideology, where he said MMM wants to create a fair financial system where money would no longer be an issue. He also added that one of MMM's beauty is that it has no central account and exchange are peer-to-peer. So the fear that an individual or group can run away with the members' funds is eliminated. He further shared that MM community has no interest rates and hence generates the 30% per month through crowdfunding, where the one getting help are paid from the new donation being provided. He then showed them in detail how the 30% earning cycle works, from providing help to asking for help. The other topics he talked about before concluding were about the benefits and bonuses, the risks associated with joining, the frequently asked questions, and the rules for safe participation. Delta State was again witness to another MM offline presentation the next day, September 11 of last year. This time, it was at the Hotel de Maris in a fair room with Guider Atani Reverenzon as the lead organizer. He had the guests open the event with a prayer before he delivered a short welcome message and introduced his downline guider as the main speaker. The main speaker asked the attendees were first to introduce themselves one by one. From there, he went on to business and introduced them to MMM. The entire talk was for about 2 hours, but the guests remained glued to their seats as the speaker moved from one important topic. He never had long pauses. Instead, he passionately explained things in detail so that the audience would have an in-depth and clear idea of how the MMM platform works and the responsibilities toward the community that each member has. For Guider Atani and his team, being thorough would help interested individuals to decide faster. The remaining half hour was devoted to guests asking their questions. Guider Atani and his team helped each other in answering each query as clearly as possible. They also had a group picture taken before formally ending the gathering.
And today, MMM has touched a lot of life in Nigeria. So let us avoid panic. Once you understand the ideology, you understand, and you participate with only your spare money, you understand now. So there won't be any problem.
That was Guider Lawal Said Olatonde as he was stressing to his audience of 9 people on the importance of understanding deeply the ideology of MMM. This was during an opportunity presentation he conducted at the Tanzalizer building in Surulere, Lagos State last September 15, 2016.
My name once again is Lawal Olatunde.
Prior to that scene, he already announced that around October of 2016, MM Ghana would also be launched, which drew claps from his guests. And while it only took him about 4 minutes in discussing the benefits and bonuses MM offers, he spent about half an hour talking about the rules in doing MMM, the risks involved and things each member must do to mitigate those risks and prevent post-mode from happening. Aside from stressing on putting MM's ideology to heart, he also repeated several times that the health of the system depends entirely on the behavior of the participants. He added that as long as the provided help volume is higher than requests for help, then everyone will enjoy the benefits that MM is willing to give. Before going to the question and answer portion, he again reiterated that MM should never be treated as a business, investment, or MLM company, so donation should only be done using one's spare funds. From Nigeria, we now move down to Republic of South Africa, wherein Guider M. Lompeni revisited the community of Durban, KwaZulu-Natal on November 25 of last year for an offline presentation at Jadakonya Century. Like Guider Lawal, he also wants his audience to realize that to effectively take part in the MMM community, it is important to participants to fully understand its ideology. He added that doing so will make their lives in MM easier and help them cope with negative information coming from people who do not understand the system. He also shared how MMM has already helped millions of its participants since the mutual donation exchange platform started in 2011. From there, he also showed how MMM rewards its members through the donation bonus and other bonuses using its internal currency called Mavro. Part of his closing message was directed to old members, wherein he encouraged them to help guiders in explaining the ideology of the community to its new members.
Now, in everything that we do in our lives, there has to be rules and regulations. We can't go about just doing our own things, okay? So Triple M has rules.
That was Guider Coracia Williams as she was introducing the rules of MMM to her audience during her offline presentation for the people of Phoenix and Durban. At 6 in the evening of November 27, 2014, she was already describing to her audience what MMM is in a nutshell. She described MMM as a self-managed community where members send donation directly to each other. She also added that this donation exchange started in 2011 as one of the great works of Russian Sergei Mavrodi. She also said that his passion to help people and alleviate poverty in people's lives is what made Mavrodi create MMM as we know it today. And that since then, MMM has spread like wildfire all over the world and has positively affected many lives. Guider Coracia presentation only lasted for 15 minutes, but she was already able to cover many important topics including Bitcoin and the rules and risks that each member must remember. Asked why she had it that short, Guider Coracia said that she respects people's time, so she does not want to have long presentations. Last week, we have featured 24 names of participants from our MM Colombia community who have crossed the 1 million Colombian peso mark for their Get Help amounts. They started with just 2 names in September and had 11 each on the months of October and November. This time for part 2, we gathered names for the month of December 2016, and our MM Colombia community gave us 29 names, with 5 more people than the combined results from September to November. Our sincere congratulations to these participants.
One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. I believe it's not too late. Together we can change the world. Lay the puzzle pieces out. Find out what it's all about. Together we can change the world. Can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for your help. Together we can change the world. Sail past where it's been charted. Roll your sleeves up, let's get started. Together we can change the world. Together we can change the world.
Hi everyone, it's another great week for all of us. My name is Emil and welcome to Just My Opinion. Recently, I received a very interesting question from one of our viewers, which prompted me to make it as a topic for today's segment. Straight from our JMO suggestion link, someone asked is it okay to donate or provide help big amounts in MMM? It's really difficult to directly answer with a yes or a no, So let's talk about it a little more. What I'm going to share to you right now is based from my personal experience as a participant of MMM Philippines, and also based from my observation in other MMM communities. I'm not sure if this will work for you, but I hope you learn a lesson from it somehow. GH is directly proportional to pH. That means if the flow is big, you're going to expect a big outflow as well. In our case, in MMM, theoretically, the outflow will be much bigger versus the inflow because of the 30% Mavro growth. So, will it be an advantage for you and for the community if you will provide help large amount of money? First, let's talk about you as a participant. You are one of the millions of people who makes MMM possible. Whether big or small amount, your pH matters. But the question here is, if you are making a large amount of pH, is it really your spare money? Is it an amount that if you lost along the way will not bother your daily living? Is it only a small portion of the total money that you have in your bank account? If your answer is yes, then go ahead. Send them off to someone who is in need by making a pH request in your PO. But if your answer is no, then pause for a while. Pause for a while. You can be caught in the trouble if you do it. If your pH is not a spare money, you are not following the rules and the ideology. The level of risk you might be taking is far beyond what you can control. Trust me, if your pH is not a spare money, you are not changing the world. Why? Because later on, when problem comes, you will be one of the people who will complain that they lost their money, that they are victims, when in fact, it is just the result of their own decisions. So before you make a pH request, ask yourself again, can you handle the risk of losing it? Are you ready to give it away? At least if you do this, you're not only saving yourself, you're also making the move to live up the ideology of this community. Now, for the MMM community as a whole, large amount of pH might help if the GH rate is also high. But generally speaking, it also possesses huge risk for the community. It's because most of the time, those who make big pH doesn't take MMM ideology seriously. They are only after of money. Oh, take note, I'm not saying all of them. I'm only saying that most of them. Still, there's always an exception. And I remember not so long ago, I came to know an old man who participated in MMM, and his pH is close to millions. When a restart happened, he lost all his Mavro, but incredibly, he said he doesn't have any grudge to Mavrodi or to any person in the community because he understood the risk of being a participant. He said that he still believes in the ideology and that one day we can all achieve the change we want if we won't give up. And that old man really inspires me up to this point. So, my final words, always put a limit to your pH and make sure it's only your spare money. It's your first step towards changing the world. This is Emil, and always remember that everything that I said in this video is just my opinion. Have a great day, guys, and bye-bye.
In our stories this week, the one coming from our Colombia family is worthy of praise. From your MNC family, congratulations to all the guiders and participants who have made their contributions for that milestone. This year, we hope that you continue with your efforts to spread the MMM ideology in Colombia. And we are positive that we would see more names added to the list in the coming days. With that, we end this week's edition of MNC. I am Mark. Always remember, together we change the world.